Crude oil tanker plays an important role in the global oil industry. The efficiency of tanker is based on the output of the tanker. By output we mean the amount of cargo loaded should be maximum equal to the amount of cargo discharged. The crude oil tanker carries various grades of crude oil which has different properties, different density, etc. After the bulk discharge of the crude oil, there will be a lot of sludge, sediments clinging onto the bulkheads of the tank. Clingage means the leftover. So this leftover of the cargo, this unpumped sludge gets settled down and get hold on the bulkhead as clingage. This clingage will result in reduced output as well as contamination of the next cargo. So for removing this we will conduct tank washing. Early times we used to do water washing, but it had made concern regarding the output and also marine pollution, and there was a concern regarding the disposal of this wash water. Nowadays in modern tankers what we use is a technology called crude oil washing, in which the crude or the discharging crude oil is used to wash the clingage, dissolve the clingage along with the cargo, and is pumped out along with the cargo. Now, according to the MARPOL Annex-1 Regulation 35, crude oil washing system has become mandatory for crude oil tankers. Next is why we are using a crude to dissolve the crude. The main reason is that the dissolving capability of the crude oil is higher than that of the water. It reduces the time and cost for the tank cleaning operation. It helped in reducing the marine pollution risk due to the wash water. It helps in increasing the outturn of the cargo. Next is the accumulation of sludge in the tank and the ROB remaining on board amount is also reduced. It reduced the requirement for the manual tank cleaning labor. This can be considered as the uses as well as the advantage of the crude oil washing, and there are certain disadvantages. The disadvantages include it requires specialized equipments, certainly specifically for crude oil washing, like the nozzle, cow machine, and sometimes the additional stay on port may cost additional charges for the vessel. There is an increased workload to the officers during the cow operation. There is always a risk of safety and of marine pollution as operations are being carried out at high pressure, normally around 10 bars. And if the crude oil is getting mixed with water is used for the crude oil washing, there is every chance of static hazard on the tank, as the crude jets are hitting the bulkheads at a very high speed. According to the MARPOL Annex-1 Regulation 35, each crude oil tanker shall be provided with a crude oil washing system equipment's manual, and if any alteration is made to the equipment or the system, it shall be revised accordingly on the manual also. Sufficient tanks must be crude oil washed prior to ballast voyage, in consideration with the trading area and the weather expected on the voyage. Ballasting can only be done on a crude oil wash tank if necessary. And in every ship there is two tanks, one port and one starboard, one on port and one on starboard, which is considered as heavy weather ballasting tanks. So initially the crude oil washing has to be done on these two tanks, so that if there is any heavy weather issues going on to the which will affect the stability of the vessel, these tanks can be ballasted. There is always exception provided that if the crude oil is not suitable for crude oil washing, then the crude oil washing need not be conducted. The crude oil washing can be carried out only in compliance with the inert gas system. So every crude oil washing system shall also be provided with an inert gas system. There are two types of cow machines available. First one is single nozzle machine and the another one is twin nozzle machine. First, let's go to single nozzle machine. In a single nozzle machine, the single nozzle machine is programmable. For the top wash is 140 degree to 030 degree. Bottom wash is 060 degree to 000 degree. And for bottom wash we use 060 degree to 000 degree. If you are using this, then we need to carry out only one single cycle. If we are using bottom wash with 030 degree to 000 degree, 2 cycles would be required for proper washing. A single nozzle machine uses around 110 ton to 170 ton per hour. A twin nozzle machine is not programmable. It consumes around 50 tons to 150 tons per hour. The time required for the cycle is constant, but it depends on the pressure at which the nozzle is used. The number of cycles required will depend on other factors too. The liquid should not be present on the bottom of the tank, as the pressure jet will not reach the sludge and hit the sludge at the pressure required if there is liquid on the bottom of the tank. And if the sludge is more waxy, then more number of cycles would be required to remove the clingage. When we are in a colder region, the cargo might get solidified. So the cargo that we are using should be heated before using it as a driving fluid. And the temperature of the cargo should be at least 10 degrees higher than the cloud point temperature. And cloud point temperature is the temperature at which the crude oil vats and associated oil phase get separated from the bulk liquid phase of the cargo. It means that the vats get separated from the liquid phase and it gets sedimented on the bottom or on the side bulkheads. This is one of the criteria used to calculate the sludging criteria of the cargo. For the cow washing to be carried out, we have to provide the driving fluid. There are 3 methods of providing the driving fluid to the cow machines. First one is bleed off or open cycle system, in which a part of the oil being discharged is sent to the tank cleaning line to be used as a driving fluid. Next one is the semi-open system, in which the wash oil is used from the discharging tank. The washing oil is applied from the discharge tank and drained to the slop tank. Next one is a closed cycle system, in which the wash oil is applied from the slop tank and drained to the slop tank. It is a good practice to renew or change the driving fluid after it has been used for 6 tanks, because a lot of sludge would have already accumulated along with that oil. There are certain pre-arrival tests as well as checks that has to be conducted before arriving at the port and after arrival before the cow is carried out. The cow line pressure testing, which must be carried out prior arrival to the port. All the tests carried out must be recorded in the logbook. The heater must be planned and disconnected from the tank cleaning line. The stripping capacity shall be at least 1.25 times that of the throughput of all the cow washing machines which are simultaneously in use. The vessel should be trimmed by stern. The oxygen level in the tank must be checked and it should be less than 8%. And during the cow operation, the IG pressure shall be less than 8%. The IG pressure shall be less than 5%. And if the IG pressure goes more than 8%, the IG will shut down and the cow operation should be stopped. While the crude oil washing is going on, a responsible person should be always available on the deck. and should check that there is no leakage in the curve lines from pump room to the deck, and the pressure is kept at 10 bar as instructed by the chief officer. He has to check that the proper tanks to be crude oil washed are being washed. Should make sure that the jet is running by hearing the voice of the jet, and the machine anchor is set properly as per chief officer's instruction. He has to check that the IG system pressure and the oxygen content is in the limits, and if the vapor pressure of the tank is increasing, there is a chance that the PV valves may operate. It will cause an air pollution, and it is not allowed in some of the ports or some of the countries. Hence, a continuous check on the tank pressure must be maintained. The pressure shall not be allowed to go less than 200 mm water gauge. After the cover operation, the machine valves must be closed, and the dip must be checked on the aft end of the tank, and the oxygen content of the tank should also be checked. The crude oil washing is stopped at certain conditions. If the inert gas system oxygen content goes more than 8% by volume, if there is any malfunction on the cow machine or on the inert gas supply system, if there is any indication of any leakage in the cargo line or on the tank cleaning line, if the crude oil washing is not being carried out as per the plan, or if the communication between the cargo control room and the deck is lost, and if due to any weather deterioration, or if there is any lightning occurring nearby the vicinity of the vessel, then crude oil washing has to be suspended. If due to any reason the terminal instructs us to stop, if the pressure inside the tank reduces to less than or equal to 200 mm water gauge.